All right, we are on the last thing that you need to learn for this entire unit. After today, you're going to have 2 days of review for your test. And then next week, leading into break, you're going to have your second test of the year. So just a quick reminder, a couple of things to keep in mind today, because we are still dealing with parallel and perpendicular lines. Keep in mind that parallel lines have equal slopes, and then perpendicular lines have opposite reciprocal slopes. So that's the big thing today, is to be very careful with that. Today we are going to be writing equations of lines that are parallel or perpendicular. So when you are writing your equations, and I can't stress this enough, only write it in point slope form. Do not take it any further. If you take it a little bit further, this is where things seem to be going a little bit bad. Distributing is a little bit of a mess. Please just leave it in point slope form. It'll be specified on your test. And just as a reminder, I'll write it here. Point slope form is y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. You fill in x1, y1, and m. This y and this x stay y and x. So let's chat about how we're going to write point slope form today. So for number one here, let me try to zoom in a little bit. For number one here, it says write the equation of the line that passes through the point. So they're giving you a point. This point is what you are going to use for x1, y1. So they are giving you the point and is parallel to this line. Well, we just wrote up here that parallel lines have equal slopes. And in our point slope form, we need an x1 and a y1, which we have right here, and we need a slope. So if my line is parallel to this line, that means that my new line will have the same slope. Well, conveniently, this equation is already in slope-intercept form, which means this line has a slope of -4. So my new slope will also be -4. So there's my x1, there's my y1, there's my m. Now all you got to do is plug into that point slope form. Point slope form says y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. And again, you cannot leave this as a double negative, so change it to a positive, and that's it. You're done. Don't distribute. If you distribute, it's going to mark you wrong and go formative. Don't distribute. Keep it simple. So again, if it's parallel, you just take whatever slope that had, and that's what you use as your new slope. Let's take a look at another example for parallel. Number 2 here. It says, write an equation of a line that passes through the point. Okay, here again is your x1, y1, and is parallel to this line. Okay, but we have a little bit of a problem on this one, because this equation is not in slope-intercept form. So we've got to do a little bit of work, get it in slope-intercept form. So when you are getting things into slope-intercept form, first thing you do is move the x's. You don't just move them, you have to do the opposite operation to move it to the other side. So we are going to subtract x, and I'm left with -3y equals -x plus 9. What we're doing right now is not new. We have taken equations and put them into slope-intercept form before. So move the x's, and then after that, you're going to divide by whatever is in front of y. So after you move your x's, now we're going to divide by whatever's in front of y. So we're going to divide by -3. So I divide everything by -3, and we have to be careful with signs. So then I have y equals a negative divided by a negative is a positive, and this is just 1/3. Positive. And then you put the x, positive 9 divided by -3 is -3. So there's my equation, which is great, but that's not what I wanted at all. But I need this equation. I actually only need this part to help me to write my point slope form equation. So since my lines are parallel, that means that they have the same slope. So I take this 1/3, and my new line will also have a slope of 1/3. So now I can write my equation in point slope form. Y minus y1 equals m, parentheses, x minus x1. Don't leave it as a double negative. Change it to a positive, and you're done and good to go. So those are two parallel examples. If that was confusing, or if you need like a little bit more, pause it, rewind it, watch it again, or show up to the Google Meet, and I have a couple more examples that I can walk through with you. Perpendicular, just as a reminder, we're going to do basically the same exact thing that we did here, except for perpendicular lines have opposite reciprocal slopes. So if we take a look at this example, write an equation of a line that passes through the point. So this is our point, x1, y1, and is perpendicular to this line. Well, this line has a slope of 2. So my new slope has to be the opposite sign. So this is positive, so it's going to be negative. And then the reciprocal. Well, 2 is the same thing as 2 over 1. So I'm going to flip that, and I get 1 over 2. So now I have my point, and I have my slope. So now I can write my equation. So it says y minus y1 equals m, parentheses, x minus x1. And leave it alone. Let it be. Don't distribute. So again, how I got my slope on this one is because I had to do the opposite, change the sign, and then reciprocal, flip your fraction. Number 4, same kind of idea as that number 2 up top. They give us our point. That's our x1. That's our y1. And is perpendicular to this line. Well, notice it's not in slope-intercept form, so we're going to use those steps to get the equation in slope-intercept form. Step 1 says to move the x's. So I have a positive 5x. So to bring it to the other side, I subtract 5x. And I get 3y equals negative 5x minus 21. I always put my x's out in front. Keep the signs. After you move your x's, then you're going to divide by whatever is in front of y. So there is a 3 in front of y. So you're going to divide everything by 3. And I get y equals, this can't be reduced, so leave it as negative 5/3 x. Negative 21 divided by 3 is negative 7. So this is the slope of this line. But I need to write an equation that is perpendicular. Perpendicular, so my new slope for my new line, perpendicular means that it's going to be the opposite sign. So this one's negative, so this one's going to be positive, and it's the reciprocal. So it's going to be 3 over 5. So there's my point. There's my slope. Now I can write in point slope form. Y minus y1 equals m, x minus x1. And again, you can't leave a double negative. Change it to a positive, and there is your answer. Like I said, I do plan on going over a couple of additional examples if needed during the Google Meet today. So if you get stuck or if you've rewound this and you still don't understand it, please show up and I can get those questions answered for you.